So what we're going to do first is we're going to open up the PT 4000, and there's 2, 4, 6, 8 screws, and it's a star tip, and I'm going to use the battery tool here. The tools you've been working on, there aren't any O-rings or anything in here. There's only 3 or 4 major components, and when we do repairs on these tools, you do major components. You don't do tiny spare parts because it doesn't warrant that. So the housing comes apart. You set it aside like that. So inside here, you've got the ball screw housing, the drive shaft, the electric motor, and your electronic control. Now here's the arm that I was talking about. Okay. The other thing besides the arm and the magnet not working are these screws here holding the ball screw housing sometimes come loose. And when that happens, then you've got an extra space here, the travel is different, and that could also cause it to go forward and break the front of the housing. The other thing that happens sometimes, if it's out of alignment because of use, this comes too far forward and will jam itself. And to do that, you physically have to take this out, put it in a vise, and break, well, not break the seal, but release it the other way, because it's wedged itself.
Yeah, right.
So, but
so this arm here is basically just like a limit switch, basically.
Right, correct. And there's 2 contacts on this E-control that are on the front to set. This tool is jammed, and I don't know why. So
Yeah.
let's figure it out. There's a red overload light. I'll show you. See the light there?
Yep, it's on.
Okay.
Where is it? I don't see it. Oh, yeah, there it is.
Okay, so that's overload. But that's a good thing. That's to protect the tool, so you won't fry the E-control. If it can't move, it shuts down automatically. So,
Good idea.
there's not a lot of tools necessary for this. You need a star tip, and I believe it's a number 20.
Oh, there you go. Now it's working.
Something, it looks like that was just maybe threaded off. So it was coming forward and jamming up against the nose tube. So they're using, they're pulling blind bolts with this tool, but there doesn't look like there's a follower behind here.
If you put the battery in there now, that would probably run because you're no longer jamming your knee.
It might, because now it moves freely.
It moved all before.
Right. So when I'm doing the tool like this, you just have to make sure and keep your finger on this drive wheel in the back so it doesn't jump out. And this light on this side comes forward to let you know that the contact's been made.
Okay.
Okay?
And that strap,
So it looks like that there's not a lot of repair internally on this one. It just had to do with the jaw system and the puller shaft, which we'll address. But it has full stroke and it comes back forward. And on that here, as far as the distance that you need between the back of the ball screw and the puller shaft here is, they say dime width.
Is that an adjustment on that?
Yeah.
Is there an adjustment on
Well, the way we'd have to adjust that, and what we'll do is we'll do this one next, because I know this was out of whack.
Broke the case.
Right, and I'll show you how to adjust that. And we actually have to manually bring this forward till the contacts, and we'll do
So you
that.
get that light on.
Right. So,
Right, okay, cool.
would you put that in the vise and take it apart for me? everything internally looks good. It's pretty clean. You can sometimes, if necessary, just put a little grease on the internal. All right, now something's happened internally here, and when you look, there's some dents which is causing the jaw follower to be able to move up and back and forth. So
To prevent that, it's causing it to prevent.
I think what happened is a rivet stem might have gotten caught in there, and when this came forward, it caused it to be damaged, and now the hole size is incorrect. So the follower is stuck down there, and it doesn't put any pressure behind the jaws. Can't reach the jaws. Now, there's a scraper ring on here, and the reason that's put on there is so it keeps any dust or anything to get inside internally. It scrapes up against that lip inside there. Okay? So this is going to be a really easy fix. We are going to put the new puller shaft on here. And this should be put on with a wrench. And then the reason that the battery's contact just left it for a second there. So you cycle it, put the housing back on here, because there's nothing wrong internally on this one.
I know, like when you put on this piece, sometimes it'll stop at the...
We've got that down, we've got that tight. The spring goes in, and then the follower. And you can see how high the follower is supposed to be sitting out there, and this one's trapped below. So, and the spring is jammed behind. So, now they're pulling the 3/16 blind bolt, which the jaws and the jaw. There's a 3-piece set of jaws, and it's Martin. When you guys are, I think you have some for blind bolts, but on the side is stamped the diameter, so that says 5B. So it's actually 5/32.
Okay.
If it were 6 diameter, it would say 6B. Yep. So. Okay. Matt, can you get me a F505 nose piece, please? Now, this needs to hit the thread on hand tight. If there's any gap here, it means that it's come too far forward and we have to adjust the stroke.
Oh, right.
Because the geometric relationship here has to be right on.
Is that when your nose piece is split?
Yeah,
Not adjusted right?
comes too far forward, and the weakest part is here, and that was designed to destroy a $10 piece instead of your $400 gun.
Yeah.
So it'll blow out the front. So all you have to do is readjust it. So I always pull the drawbar back to thread any nose pieces, then you aren't working against spring pressure. Okay, now if I just turned it another quarter turn, so if it comes forward and it makes a squeak, like a then it is out of adjustment. It's coming too far forward. So we'll listen for that now when I release this.
Didn't hear any.
No, didn't hear it. So, and then you put the canister back on because the stems eject through and catch in the canister in the back. But so, and it holds the jaws. I mean, the jaws hold the stem. The next one will push it through. So there you see the stem drop through. There. So and then the canister. All right. So there was not a lot wrong with that one internally. There, matter of fact, nothing. It was all in the nose here.
That's good.
So that's good. So that was an easy fix.